Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The last several weeks of January have been a breath of fresh air as above seasonal temperatures have been reported across southwest Saskatchewan. Despite ongoing campaigns by health regions of the importance of keeping one's shots up to date, certain illnesses are making a new resurgence. Every day across Saskatchewan, 1 in 10 people will develop the signs of some form of dementia, and this stat is expected to double by the year 2020.
Thanks for joining us here today. The recent mild weather has been a breath of fresh air, breaking up the winter season. And according to Environment Canada, we can expect more mild temperatures in the coming weeks.
The last several weeks of January have been a breath of fresh air as above seasonal temperatures have been reported across southwest Saskatchewan, giving many the chance to attend to household chores and enjoy the outdoors in general. And although the mild weather has forced the early closure of outdoor rinks, we haven't broken any temperature records.
And the reason for that is that it began on a very cold note. I mean, there were some very brutally cold temperatures down into the minus 30 range there at the first 2 weeks of January, and it was almost as if this atmospheric gift at the end has been a real. It's almost a story of two types of weather. Very cold Arctic air at the beginning of the month, and almost Pacific air, Hawaiian air, moving in at the last 2 weeks.
Phillips adds that despite a forecast drop in temperatures in the coming days, the long-term outlook for February and March is looking positive, further shortening winter's grip on the season.
But our models seem to suggest this Pacific weather that's been, I think, in many ways dominating, at least sharing the weather map with the polar weather, is likely to continue. We don't see an end to it. We think we're models, we're more conservative. We're probably describing them as kind of near normal conditions. And listen, normal would be a breath of tropical air compared to what you had last year in February, March, and early April. With the ground still frozen, with the snow collecting, there was just no break at all.
The normal high for this time of the year is -8, with an overnight low of -18. The short-term forecast for southwest Saskatchewan is calling for temperatures in the mid-minus teens.
Are your child's vaccinations up to date? Health officials continue to stress the importance of building herd immunity. We have more in this report.
Access to free vaccinations are easily accessible to all Canadians from infancy through adulthood. And despite ongoing campaigns by health regions of the importance of keeping one's shots up to date, certain illnesses are making a new resurgence. This includes measles over the last year across Canada and the U.S., and most recently making headlines with numerous cases reported from those visiting Disneyland in the last month. A growing concern which is spurring health officials to give this advice to the general public.
To make sure you're up to date with your children's immunizations, because what has happened in these particular cases or this outbreak at Disney is that pretty much the majority of cases that have occurred are unvaccinated or only partially vaccinated. And literally most of the vaccinated cases have not had any issues. I guess the other side of the coin is that sometimes we get shot in the foot or shoot ourselves in the foot by doing such a good job with vaccinations that you don't really see the cases circulating. If you talk to a lot of people who were around during the times when vaccines were not available or not yet developed, they really remember all these diseases and how severe they were.
Chor adds that keeping up to date with all of your vaccinations on a regular basis helps to build herd immunity when you're at home and traveling abroad.
For those traveling, yes, it is important because you don't know what you're going to find out there, especially the example that Disney has given, and pretty much any tourist attraction will have people from all over, and you cannot predict, whether they're carrying illness and what level of protection they have. And at the same time, even if you don't travel, people can bring the illness back with them without knowing. And so it's still very important, whether you're traveling or not traveling, to have that immunization.
Detailed historical information on your personal vaccinations throughout your lifetime can be accessed through your local public health office, along with guidelines of suggested booster shots necessary, such as tetanus and whooping cough.
This is a great example of the health region, the Cypress Health region, and the Ministry of Health working to put the patient first.
There's something special happening in the small southwest community of Bracken. Volunteers have come together to help build a community park and playground. At first glance, this small village may seem like an unlikely location, but it's not until you've spent time here and realize the infectious community spirit that attracts people from kilometers away.
It's a wonderful place to live, and just people accept you as a friend right away as soon as I moved here. And there's invitations for coffee and hang out, and also there's a really good community spirit here that everybody helps.
Meet Monique Fair, one of the main volunteers responsible for the project. Moving to Bracken with her family about 5 years ago, Monique became aware of the plan as residents had raised initial funds to purchase some of the playground equipment. She liked the idea of a community park, and with her own passion for parks and green spaces, helped the project move forward. As the community park began to take shape, first with the play structure and later with the soccer field, it became apparent that this was something that would benefit the entire region. Having a population of about 22 people, soccer season would see the community balloon, with over 80 kids participating. With that many children playing, it also became apparent that the park required additional elements. The next phase of development would see the volunteers come together to help mix cement, cut rebar, dig, and drill. When it was completed, a new swing set was constructed for the younger children, a tether ball was added for the older kids, and receptacles as well as park benches were added to improve the park aesthetics. With partners including the Village of Bracken, the Bracken Soccer Group, local farmers, Bracken 4-H, and Community Futures Southwest, everyone who participated in the project came away with a sense of community pride, which Monique says is vital to the community.
I believe that rural areas give something that cities don't do anymore. There's a certain accountability, and you are known, and people care for each other, and they watch out for each other. Our kids have freedoms that they never had before in the city, and I really enjoy seeing the freedom that they can grow up in here.
It's success stories like this that reinforce what residents in rural Saskatchewan have known for some time, and that is, anything is possible with a strong dose of determination and a little help from your neighbors.
Community Futures Southwest helps business owners with financing and business training, making dreams become a reality. Contact their office today.
The Alzheimer Society plays a key role for patients and their families. And these programs all come to light thanks to your continued support.
Every day across Saskatchewan, 1 in 10 people will develop the signs of some form of dementia, and this stat is expected to double by the year 2020, with approximately 72% of those cases women. As more cases of dementia are diagnosed, the Alzheimer Society of Saskatchewan continues to count on your support for its crucial research, undertaken federally and closer to home at the University of Saskatchewan. Money which is used for a variety of outreach programs in local communities, such as this recent Telehealth evening, discussing the molecular link between depression and Alzheimer's.
We offer a learning series via Telehealth, but we also have them right within the community. We have Heads Up for Healthier Brains that we're offering this year in March, and then we have Spotlight on Research. In November, we do an Understanding Dementia. I'd say we average between about four a year.
The Telehealth evenings are just one of many free services offered across the province by the Alzheimer Society to both clients and their families.
We have Coffee Club, we have the support group. Those are two of our big ones. We put on learning series throughout the year, and then First Link coordinators are available to answer questions that family members may have about the disease progression, maybe how to get a diagnosis, medications that are available, coping strategies, things like that.
More information on dementia-related illnesses and resources for patients and families can all be found online through the Alzheimer Society's website.
Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.